Hey everybody, welcome back to Speak Your Way to Success series. I am Amanda Moxley, your hostess with the mostest, and today I want to introduce you to Amanda Francis. And as you know, I have brought together leaders and authorities and awesome women from around the world who are sharing their message and teaching us exactly how they've been able to speak their way to success through using video and live streams and speaking on stage and offline and online. And so Amanda is perfect for this, and we're going to dive so deep into her amazing success. And let me give you her professional bio to start. So Amanda Francis is a success coach for women entrepreneurs, a digital course creator, and a soulful business guru to the tens of thousands of women who follow her work online. Amanda's mission is to empower women to design lives and businesses that they are wildly obsessed about. I love that. She daily strives towards this through her rapidly growing social media presence, the continual creation of digital courses and other online training programs, and a free weekly video blog series. A true self-made woman, while putting herself through graduate school, Amanda taught herself how to build her first website. She determined to overcome her debilitating fears and limiting beliefs around starting and growing a business. For 5 short years later, Amanda Francis Inc. earned over $500,000 in 2016. And this success has allowed her to travel extensively, running her business from around the world. She credits her success to her sheer determination, a deep desire to serve others, and an unwavering belief in her own dreams. So beautiful. Welcome, Amanda.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. Well, I love it that you really hit the nail on the head. It's not like a magical formula, even though I'm sure there's been a lot of magic, but it has been determination and the power of your dreams. So just tell us a little bit about your story, because it's, you're young and you put yourself through grad school and you have this business and you're so successful. Tell us a little more.
I just can't work for other people. Like probably most of these people on here, you get that, like, you feel, I always felt stifled and debilitated, whether it was in school or whether it was at a job. Anytime I tried to do anything in any kind of a conventional way, I didn't feel good. I didn't feel like my best. I didn't feel like myself, So I was in the process of getting a master's in counseling, and I was annoyed. I was just really annoyed that I was still waiting to help people. I was still waiting to give my gifts. I still had to go through the licensure process. I still had to do these things to, help people the way I wanted to. And so I was working on becoming licensed as a therapist in the state of Texas. And one day I heard someone talking about life coaches, and they were talking bad about life coaches. And I was like, you're telling me I can go out there and do the damn thing right now?
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the day after I heard the word life coach for the first time, I started teaching myself WordPress, because I was like, well, I don't know how else to tell people that I'm a life coach and I can help them without a website. Yep. So I started teaching myself social media and getting my website up. And for a time, it was a really shitty website. It was a really shitty online presence, but I got started right away. I just did everything I knew to do. I don't know. And then one step at a time grew it, from being a life coach to training coaches to creating courses on coaching, on branding, on creating your own courses, on money. Yeah, my whole jam now, it'll be 6 years in March. And my whole jam now, the thing I think I'm really good at is I'm good at taking women who have something to give, the health coach, the wellness coach, the yoga instructor, the whomever, someone who has a gift, but that just isn't profitable, and getting them to package it up and create a course and get some streams of income and brand it well and maximize their money and minimize their time. Right. And I don't know, it's evolved quickly, kind of it feels slow because I've been in the process all along,
I know, right? Exactly. And were you getting a master's in social work or?
I have a master's of science in counseling.
Oh, cool. I have a similar path. I have a master's in social work, and I was a year into getting my license. I was a certified social worker, and I was like, I cannot do this.
I know.
Yeah. And that was 11 or 12 years ago. So I love it. And so now you're helping all these people. And I know I started following you a couple years ago, and you were doing spiritual boss lady, and you had Gabby Bernstein. And so I know you're really good with branding, and your free gift is about branding. So do you want to share with people more about branding and some really good tips on how to really stand out and have a huge following online?
Yeah, branding. Okay, the way I do branding isn't anything more than like who you really are, like your authentic self. But I think it's your authentic self, like on overdrive. Like it's your authentic self, but where everyone can see it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like, I think what people try to do a lot is go like, what do people want to see from me? And what do people like need to hear from me? And like, they try to like get it all construed and perfect, right? And that's not really what's going to attract people. What's going to attract people is a woman loving herself, being herself, tuned into herself, sharing who she is and what she's here to give. And I think the problem where a lot of people get stuck is that they don't do the inner work underneath knowing who you are and loving who you are. Like none of this will work if you don't fucking like yourself, if you don't fucking believe in yourself, if you don't believe in what you're sharing, none of it works, right? Yep. So like, I think behind every single major business success I've had, every single one, you know, my first 6-figure launch, we just had a $250,000 launch. Like every time I do my next thing, it's because I did my work. I did my work underneath like why I wanted it, why it was of high service to receive it, like how it benefited me and others and the world. Like I did my work around why I didn't believe I could have it, why I still felt not good enough. Mm-hmm. Like I think whether we're branding or we're creating or we're promoting or we're selling or whatever, like the key to up leveling is always doing our fucking work. You know what I mean?
Oh, hell yeah. All the time. It's like it's grueling. It's like that. It's the ultimate self-development course. Like we wouldn't be where we are if we didn't have our own businesses.
Oh yeah, as like humans, totally. And so like I love when I teach branding because I have really good social media tips and I think I have some really good like strategy and all of that's great, but none of that matters quite as much as like knowing who you are, liking who you are, you know what I mean? Doing the work around like what you want to give and why it's needed, and then fucking believing in yourself when you put yourself out there every day. You know what I mean?
And how have you overcome that? How have you done those things? Liked yourself, believed in yourself?
Oh my God, me and my, you know, your journal's your best friend, right? So for me, it's kind of this continual strategy of, okay, because here's what women do. Tell me if you see this. Women do this whole crazy thing where we think it has to be more complicated than just what do you want? Like, I want this, but should I have this? Or I want this, but I don't think the universe wants me to have this, or I want this, but what about so-and-so? And it's just bullshit. Like, so my continual like every day is what do you want, right? And then what ideas tell you you can't have this? Looking at those ideas, they're never true, right? So just disproving every idea that says I can't have it. And then from there, I'm able to, you know, I teach on manifesting a lot. From there, I'm able to believe that I can have it, right? But you have to deal with all the ideas that say you're not good enough for it and you're not worthy of it, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and be willing to tell new stories, but also being able to look at what hurts around those stories. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so when you're saying you're authentic, I completely agree with you. The brand is about the authentic self on overdrive, but it's like people don't think that that's good enough, or it should be looking like theirs because theirs is so pretty and so perfect or whatever, and they're not that. So how do you help people who are in that boat?
Tell them, no, that's not true. Like, I mean, that's a lie. Like, what else is there to say? Yeah. Like, you know as well as I do that your authentic self is what has attracted everyone to you. You being you unapologetically and you owning your power is what's massively attractive, right? Yeah. It doesn't even matter what you're selling. You know what I mean? People want to follow someone who gives them permission to be themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So tell me how have you grown your social media in such a big way and your following?
How has my social media grown? Well, you know, I'm consistent. Like, I have not missed a single day on my Facebook personal page or Facebook fan page or my Facebook group The group's only been around for maybe 2 years, but the others have been around all 6 years. And I haven't missed a single day of sharing something of value, like quote, affirmation, mantra, whatever. Like in the beginning, they weren't even my own quotes, right? In the beginning, there was no graphic. Now, just because I've been working on it a long time, they got better over time. So that's what my whole thing is. Like, I never tried to be anything. I never tried to be perfect. I never tried to be next level. I wasn't hiring a graphic designer in the beginning. I was designing my own graphics. Like, I was just talking to a client who's like, but I still need to get a videographer. And I was like, I've never had a videographer. It's me and my lighting and a microphone attached to my computer. 4 courses later, like, no, what? I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, I just never tried to make anything be really perfect. I just met myself where I was at. And if you're just showing up every day, you will learn a little bit more over time, right? So now they're beautiful graphics with like rants underneath them and all this like inspired content, and like every single thing I post has a lot of like depth and something to it. But that's 6 years in. Like, I just showed up every day and got a little bit better all the time, you know?
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. And then how did you like grow your following? So because a lot of people do that, but they're not getting a following. So how did you actually get people to engage and get your following?
I manifested them. I mean, I don't know. How did I do it? Like, if we were to look at I don't know, everything practical for me has an equal energetic component. So there was me believing I could have a big following. There was me knowing that what I was saying was worthy. There was all the energetic stuff happening, sure. And then from there, for me, it's not that I've ever just like hired a coach who gave me like 10 practical steps. That's just not really the way I do it. So I don't have like some pinpoint list of the 5 things to do every day. That's like opposite of my style. It's me believing and being in an energetic match for it. And then I'll have guidance. There'll be a nudge, an urge, a download, a hit. They'll just be like oh my God, what if I do it that way? Right? So early on, I'm even hesitant to say this because this is just not the point. But like early on, that showed up in the form of, I got really into a couple of Facebook groups and shared a lot of value there every day. And people began to know me there. And as they began to know me, I became an expert there. And then they began to follow me, end up on my email list, end up on my social media page, whatever, right? But I would never say the answer is Facebook groups, because it's not the answer. The answer is that I believed in myself and I knew I was worthy and I was ready to be seen and I was showing up empowered. And then I just found myself in some groups. Like, does that make sense? But that's just one of the things. But then you just get smarter about everything as you go. You run a Facebook ad. It doesn't do so well. It does better the next time. So you run another fucking Facebook ad. You learn a little bit about Facebook ads. Like Instagram, like I have like really good engagement on Instagram, and there's some practical things I do. Like we like others' pages, we comment, like we have some amount of like strategy going. More than anything, I share inspired content. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I love it. So simple. Exactly. You share it and you're consistent every day. You haven't missed a day. Fantastic. So let's talk about this $250,000 launch. Congratulations.
Thank you. Let me say one thing. They're scheduled. The posts are scheduled through Buffer, and like I don't think I have 365 posts that are being reshared. There's maybe a couple hundred, but I created those couple hundred over 6 years. It's not like I'm sitting down and writing on Facebook every day. Who has time?
Yeah.
I'm writing on Facebook lots of days. I'm writing on Facebook during launches, but most of this is scheduled, reshared, repurposed, wrote it 3 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I do that too. I have like just rotate through these. Exactly. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, we can talk about the launch. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I think that's helpful. I'm glad you cleared that up. So the launch. So clearly, you did really well. What was the strategy you used to do so well?
Well, my strategy is always decide what I want, right? So I had $111,000 launch on this same course 1 year ago, and the course hadn't been released in 1 year. Mm-hmm. So it was time to relaunch, and I fully believe that we won't attract anything we don't believe we can have when we won't attract anything we're not excited about. So I was like not excited about a $150,000 launch. I wasn't excited about a $200,000 launch. I wasn't excited about a $300,000 launch. Like I just had to find something that was like, oh my God, fuck yeah, I want that. And I finally got there. And it was like maybe like 6 days before the cart closed. Like normally you do this at the very beginning, but I was moving to California. I didn't. Anyway, like I just had stuff going on. So anyway, I remember the day where I was like, what do you want, Amanda? And I got it. I was like, okay, we're having a $250,000 launch. So then I did the whole process I said earlier. What limiting ideas and crazy beliefs tell you you can't have this? We'll go through those. Are those true? No, they're never true. So what is true? Well, what is true is that if I have a $250,000 launch, then I affect at least 220 women. How do I affect these 220 women? Well, I know the results of this course because I have the testimonials of this course. I know how good this shit is. So then I make sure that I'm very aware of how the $250,000 launch is of high service. How does it affect me and affect my life positively? How does it affect these 220 women? How does it affect their families? And it's a money manifestation course. So how does them upping their vibration around money and learning how to earn and becoming empowered around money and healing the past with money, and how does doing all their work serve them, their families, and the entire world? I get really clear on that. Mm-hmm. And then once I know for sure that a $250,000 launch is of high service, then it's gravy. I just have to go back into the feeling every day of believing and knowing it's mine. And I don't think everyone teaches manifesting this way. And I'll get into a little bit of the practical in just one second. Let me say this. I don't think everyone teaches manifesting this way, but for me, manifesting doesn't even start till it looks like it's not happening and I still believe. So on the morning that the cart closes, I still need 120 more cells and I still believe. When we have 5 hours left, I still need 80 more cells. I still believe. When I go to bed that night, I still need a ridiculous number of cells, 60. 60 people have to read my last email and sign up before I wake up. And I still believe. That's the faith that moves mountains. That's the faith that the universe and the angelic forces and whatever you fucking believe in can get behind, right? Mm-hmm. So that's, to me, the work of having a $250,000 launch. But then, like I said earlier, when you're in the vibration and you believe it's yours, you will be inspired to act. So my action this time around came in the form of, okay, you have to sell, you have to shout it from the rooftops. You have to tell everyone what you're doing and you have to be excited about it. And you have to have a lot of passion and power behind it. You can't fake that, in my opinion, when it comes to selling, right? No copywriter, no launch manager can do that. Only you can believe in your shit, really. So I was like, okay, how am I going to tell everyone? And I thought about doing a webinar because I always do a webinar. And the idea of doing a webinar made me want to die because I've done it 5,000 million times. And I was like, well, what feels good? What feels fun? And I was like, my Facebook group is growing. My Facebook group has good energy. My Facebook group has a lot of power. And I was like, what if I just get in the Facebook group every day, which I normally do during a launch. But what if I tell everyone about it? What if I do a Facebook ad telling everyone about a Drop the Motherfucking Money Struggle live stream extravaganza? What if I tell my email list about a live stream extravaganza? What if I tell everyone in the world to come to my Facebook group and every day at these various times, I'm going to teach you my steps for manifesting money. And I didn't even make it about the course. At the very end, I'd be like, you guys know the Money Mentality Makeover is open. Click here. But I just gave, and all of my launches, I give so much content. I give so much value. So, and I don't know, this is kind of part of what I teach with branding, but when you've been giving to someone for a long period of time and they've received from you, it's easier for them to buy because they know you. They know who you are. They know what you're about. They know how it feels to learn from you. And then it's easy to click buy. But that's not even how I think of it. I think of it like I have to help these 2,000 women who signed up for this, right? It was more signups than I had ever had for anything. I normally get 400 for a webinar, but I got 2,000 because it was the thing that felt good and the thing I was inspired to do, right? So I got all the signups and I'm like, I have to lead them through this 5-day process. I have to. And I did. And people got crazy results from the live stream, whether they signed up or not. Everyone loved it. And a lot of them signed up and some of them didn't. And I don't even care. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then my next inspired action, because I'm a little bit of a genius, just to brag on myself a tiny bit, was I made those 5 videos a bonus for the course. And then I sold those 5 videos to everyone who couldn't sign up for the course, right? So I just repurposed once again something that was already created. So I sold the 5 videos for something really inexpensive, like $97. And I gave the 5 videos to everyone who decided to sign up for the course as a bonus, and everyone was happy. I deleted them out of the group and like done. You know what I mean?
You deleted them? Oh, the videos out of the group, not the
Yeah.
people. Okay.
So I can fucking sell them.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. And so, exactly. So when you, tell me, like, what's your process for getting these genius downloads? Like, do you do journaling or meditation or wake up early?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly what I've said. I get clear on what I want.
Yep.
Look at the limiting beliefs. Get into the energy of it's mine, it's mine, it's mine, it's mine, it's mine. And then it's kind of like I'm a spiritual person. So it's kind of like God, angels, universe, what would you have me do? I'm willing to do my part. I ask for help with the inspiration, right? And my whole thing is that if I'm an energetic match for it, then the inspiration has to come. There's like no choice. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I don't really stress on like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I just do what I know to do till something different shows up. You know, so since I've been doing this a while, I just get online and I share and I engage. I just do the shit I know to do until I have like that hit where I'm like, oh, what if I do it that way? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And did you have to like deal with some really deep-seated feelings about worthiness?
Yeah, hardcore. I mean, don't we all?
Yeah, definitely more than others. Some people more than others. Like some people are really plagued by it. And so how did you, since you really had to go through it, how did you deal with it?
How did I realize I was worthy? You know, this is kind of weird and kind of funny, but I'm going to say it. So one of the things I studied all throughout undergrad and grad school was cults and brainwashing.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So, and it was because I have a really fucked up religious background. So it was for my own healing that I was studying brainwashing. But I began to understand that we can systematically change our mind and change what we expect and then get what we expect, whether we're expecting life to be hard, whether we're expecting to feel punished for not being good enough, no matter what it is. Like we are capable of changing our mind and reprogramming our brain. So I studied for all these years, people do that for bad, do that for selfish and manipulative reasons. But then I started teaching myself how to change my mind, but for good. Does that make sense? Yeah. Like I knew that I could form new neural pathways and restructure my brain and feel differently, like that I was capable of that, right? So so here's what I believe. I believe that we can decide what we want to believe. And a belief is just a thought we keep thinking. So I can decide I want to believe I am good enough. I am good enough because I am, was my personal belief. Like we don't have to rationalize this all day. I am good enough because I am. That's what I need to believe in life, right? So then it was telling myself that every day, but not just saying the words, feeling it in my body. How would it feel that I am worthy? How would that feel? Right? Mm-hmm. And being in that vibe, right? And then the more you do that, the more evidence you get, right? Like you believe that you're good enough because you are, and everything else kind of to line up, and people are treating you like you're good enough, right? The world is kind of lining up. You're getting more opportunities. Like, I don't know, because whatever we're attracting is just what we're a match for. So when I start feeling differently as a human, the world starts confirming to me that I am good enough because I am, or whatever, you know what I mean? And I stop attracting people that don't believe I'm good enough because or whatever. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it really does. Yeah, the thoughts start thinking you versus like you program the new thoughts and those thoughts think you. Because a lot of times we're going on our old programming and then we're getting those results of our old programming. And so you're thinking new thoughts, those new thoughts then become you.
Yeah, and it used to take, and one of my courses, the one about money, is hardcore about reprogramming your mind. That's like the main thing we do. And I watched the women in that course spend like, a few hours each week, like crying and journaling and looking at their past and retelling their stories and clearing shit. And it's like deep, and that's important. But now that I've been doing this a long time, a process that used to take me hours or weeks to like look at or days is now like 15 minutes. I can be like, wait, I don't feel worthy of whatever. I don't feel worthy of this thing. What's that about? And like my process for changing my mind and telling a new story and creating a new thought is now like a fast process because I've been doing this a while. Yeah. But I was willing to sit there and cry over my journal for hours, realizing that I didn't feel good enough because my mom said this and so did this and whatever. I was willing to do that work a long time ago when I really had to, you know?
I found that it comes in layers. You know, you just peel away layers and then you're like, whoa, I'm back here again.
Yeah. And then it comes back. Like you're good for a while, then something comes back. You have to dig deeper into a thing you dealt with before. That happens too. But don't you think the majority of the time it's faster and easier and clearer? It's not so deep all the time. Then sometimes it has to be deep again.
Yeah. Have you had to sever any major relationships from your childhood or family?
I had to sever any major relationships. I had to change the role that the relationships played. Does that make sense? Like, I'm trying to think of how to explain this. Say you have a family member that never really showed up for you the way you needed them to, right? So instead of continually expecting that person to show up and being disappointed and hurt all the time, you might say, well, this person isn't a good brother. Like they're not a good brother. I don't expect them to be a good brother any longer, but they are another adult in my life, and maybe they can give to me in this and this and this way, and maybe I can give to them in this way, and maybe we can have some kind of relationship, but I don't expect them to be a good big brother any longer. And like there was a lot of redefining who people were and what that meant. Pissed all the time. Does that make sense? So I could just exist and be okay or whatever.
Yeah. Like you accepted yourself completely, and then through that you could accept others and know where they stand and where you stand.
Yeah, and I remember having a therapist a long time ago say, no one can do for you now what they didn't do for you then.
Yeah.
You know, like a parent, for example, you 31 or whatever, but say I was in therapy at like 20, like I don't need my parents to show up now like I would have wanted them to when I was like 11 or whatever, but that's okay. Like it gets to the point where you decide that you can be your own good mother, own good sister. You can parent yourself. You can be good to yourself. You can take care of yourself. And you don't even need them to be what they weren't. So you don't have to stay mad. You don't have to retell stories. You know what I mean? You don't have to stay there anymore.
Right. Yeah, you can powerfully move forward. I love it. Okay, so live streams, what else have you done I get the consistency. I get that you just figure out what you want. I love it. It's just like so matter of fact. And then pull out the limiting beliefs that say you can't do it and get into
change those, tell new stories, find more true, more empowering, more freeing, more feel-good ideas when you tell your new stories. Yeah.
One other thing, you must have a lot of friends that are also in your, like the environment and friendships must be really supporting you as well. Do you have a lot of friends that are on the path with you?
Yeah, but I'm really about it, right? Like, I mean, everyone has different opinions on all of this. I love that we're both drinking our juices in the morning.
We're both a little better. It has like so much kale in it, and then berries. It just looks really good. I know it is delicious though.
Yeah, I know. No, yeah, I have all green stuff today. When you put a different color in there, like you put the blueberries in, it fucks the color up.
Totally. I know. I'm like, yeah, okay, keep going.
I'm picky about the friendships, and I've heard a lot of people say a lot of things, but like for me, it doesn't have to be friends that are all making a ton of money. It doesn't have to be friends that are all into internet marketing. It really doesn't. I just need good humans that are on a path of believing in themselves, that are on a path of healing, that are on a path of like loving life more. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's nice to not have people really consumed in my whole internet world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm picky about friends. I don't really take on a ton of them. There have been, to be really honest, I don't know if this is the healthiest thing, but to be really honest, there were times in business where I was straight, when I was forming new beliefs, when I was putting myself out there, when I was really trying to go next level. There were times where I was better alone, like me dealing with myself, doing my thing. You know what I mean? Because in the beginning, when you're starting a business, the people around you aren't going to understand it. They aren't going to get it. They're going to think you're crazy. They're going to worry about you. They're going to want you to play small so you don't get hurt. And you have to stop talking to them. You have to stop talking to them about business. Like, your mom doesn't need to know or whatever, you know what I mean? She's going to worry about you if she finds out how broke you are, you know? Yeah. So there was like times where I stopped. I just didn't talk to anyone. And just really was inside of myself doing the work. And then you can't do that forever. That's lonely. And then I had to like kind of be like, okay, I need this is the kind of manifested. These are the kind of friendships I desire. Here's why I desire it. Here's how it's of high service. Like, where are my people? And now I feel like I do have amazing, amazing people in my life.
Yeah.
But I chose alone over crazy.
Yeah.
For like a couple years there, like I just felt like I didn't have the time for anyone who didn't get what I was trying to do.
Yeah, for sure. I know I had to cut ties with so many people too, as I've been growing my business and family too. I'm just like, you can just sit back and watch. It's like, just sit back and watch. If you can't support me, I'll talk to you in a few years. Like, yeah, you go on the heroine's path for sure.
But then eventually it's weird. Yeah, you do. It's weird and it's hurtful when people aren't getting you. But then over time, I've found that the proof is in the pudding. Once you're doing well, once it's obvious you're doing well, there's nothing for anyone to question anymore, and there's nothing for you to prove anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I think some of that, when it's like weird and people don't understand what you're doing and you feel like really, really not supported, some of that was just like me not believing in myself. And so I'm just manifesting people to reflect back to me that I don't believe in it yet. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're just fulfilling their role. And then when there's no more space in my energy for people to question me, because I know that what I'm here to do is really important, people start questioning you. You know what I mean?
I love that. That is I'm really glad you said that, because that is so true. They're just a mirror. They're pushing that because they see that in you that you don't believe yet. And then they're bringing that up for you to, as a test.
For you to look at, but it's because you have room for them to do it. So I'm not saying continue to have conversations with them, but there's not even any room to be mad at them, right? They're just like reflecting back the energy that you're giving to them.
Totally. You're so responsible for everything. So tell me, what is your why? Like, what is your driver for this business?
Oh my God. I love women. Everyone probably says this. I just look at the world and I see women feeling guilty all the time, feeling bad, feeling like they can't earn more than their husbands or their others, feeling like they're not worthy, feeling like, who am I to have that? I just don't come from a family like that. I see all this fucked up shit, and I know it's not true. I know they can feel better, and I know they can empower their daughters. I know it's really, really, really not about me. You know what I mean? Like, I really know that we're doing generational work here, right? So I just feel it, and I just believe it, and it drives me. And then at the same time, I didn't come from money, right? I wanted for myself a certain kind of life, right? And for me to be happy, you probably get it because you went into social work. For me to be happy, I knew I had to find a way to create a life I really wanted and help others. That was the only way Amanda was going to have an existence that made any sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love that. Why? And what has it been like? It sounds like you have surpassed your family, right?
Like financially?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's people in my family who've done really well, yes, I made way more money than my parents or grandparents ever made or anything like that. Yeah.
And what has that been like for you?
It's such a good question. You should be Oprah.
I know. You don't even probably know who Barbara Walters is, but do you know who Barbara Walters is?
I'm not that much younger than you. I'm 31.
Oh, you're 11 years younger. You're my sister.
Okay.
I know.
I know who Barbara Walters is.
Show me Barbara Walters in high school. Barbara.
Oh, yeah. No, that's a really good question. What is it like to begin to make more money than your family? I think I'm lucky. I'm lucky. I've had moments where you can tell someone wants to buy something, or I've had moments where you can tell that someone's giving you an attitude like, what's the big deal? You make the money. There's been those moments, but as a whole, No one's trying to get anything from me. Everyone's proud of me. Like as a whole, I don't really have a bad situation. But I also decided a long time ago that it was going to be okay to make more than like whatever like that. And that wasn't going to make me, here's the other thing. I don't feel separate or different from my family because I already felt separate and different from my family. Yeah. I was cut from a different cloth when I was 3 years old. So nothing about having more money or buying a new car, none of that like really creates more separation. I got used to being different a long time ago.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. So that's it's kind of been fine. But then I would also say that I decided a long time ago that money wasn't going to like define me or change me. And I just wasn't going to be like a bitchy, hateful person. So I feel abundant. I feel good. I feel empowered, but I don't have to prove anything. It doesn't matter if my family wants to go to Chili's or if we're going to go to a steakhouse, or it doesn't fucking matter. Yeah. I'm not trying to prove anything. I'm not like, whatever. It doesn't matter if I reach for the check or if we go halvesies. It's not an issue in my mind. So there's not a whole lot of room for it to be an issue in anyone else's mind because I'm still just being Amanda, this person's daughter and this person's sister.
Yeah. You know? Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Cool. What other great questions could I ask for you? Okay. I just love your conviction and belief in yourself. I gotta know, what's your sign? What's your,
I'm a Virgo sun, a Leo moon, and an Aquarius rising.
Oh, that's cool. So
my Leo moon is my look at me reality star. My Virgo is we're going to do this fucking right. Yep. I don't know how my astrologist could tell us. I don't know what my
is probably just the bigger picture and the wind, like the bigger ideas and going further into the future.
I'm a big dreamer. Yeah. Totally. I always have a big plan going.
I love, my daughter is a Leo moon. And she is a fire. She's 4, and she looked at her brother and said, "I got a lot of fire in me, Sawyer." She's like, really. She's an Aries. She's an Aries sun, and so she is like.
That's a lot of passion. Yeah.
Woo! She's really
I love being a Leo moon. Like I never quite identified with a Virgo, and when I found out I was Leo moon, I looked into it a little bit. I was like, oh right.
Yeah, and Leo, you have Leo hair too. Leos have like awesome hair too.
Yeah. Well, it's okay. It hasn't rained in the side note. It hasn't rained in Santa Barbara in like 25 years, and it won't stop raining. Yeah. So this hair is literally wine tasting all day on Saturday, rain dripping on my hair, and then hiking Sunday, rain dripping on my hair, then taking a hot bath Sunday night, rain and steam on my hair, and then sleeping on it 2 nights.
I love it. Hey, it's working for you. I love it.
And I'm going to probably get a blowout light today. But yeah, thank you.
I like it. I love it. Cool. All right, girl. Well, you have a free gift that I know people are going to just eat up. Tell us about your free gift called Becoming Your Brand.
Becoming Your Brand is super good. So it's a 3-part training series, and it's kind of some of the stuff we've talked about today, but you have actual homework. So you actually know what questions you're going to journal through and what you're going to look at. But there's work around self-acceptance, what makes you unique, what people need from you. A lot of times new business owners don't feel qualified. So there's a lot of like, what is your personal experience and your history that gave you this experience and qualifies you to help others with it? Who do you want to help and why do they need you? So that's kind of like the foundation. And then we have fun with the brand. How does all of that, like who you are and what you're here to give and why people need you, how does all of that influence like the style and the color and the vibe and the look of like your brand and your social media, right? And then there's some homework around consistency and putting yourself out there. But yeah, the 3 videos take you through the whole thing. If it were me, I would spend a few days on it and just let it be a mini course on branding. Yeah.
I love it. Thank you. That's super generous. We have the link for, I can't wait. Yeah, that sounds really cool. I love, what do I love? I love the making what you said about it's on steroids or it's on overdrive. It's your authentic self on overdrive.
Yeah, it's your authentic self just out there. So we all do it. So no one should feel bad if this is where they're at, but we all shrink and hide back and are afraid about being seen in the beginning, and it's normal. But like, if you don't want to be seen, no one's going to see you. So at some point you have to like get behind what it is you want to do and be sure that people need it. I think that's why all my homework I give, like in all my courses, always goes back to how is it of service for you to receive this, whether it's earn money, grow a following, whatever. How's it high service? Because women can't get behind it if they think it's selfish or greedy. Women cannot get behind it till they believe it's going to help people.
Right. And when they win, and know that when I win, others win. When you win, everyone wins. Yeah, exactly.
Of course we do. But if we don't think that, if we think something about what we're doing is innately selfish, we will sabotage it, right? So, but I think when we get to that point where we believe it's really, really valuable for everyone that we grow, like, I mean, I take it to the entire world. Like, it benefits me, it benefits the clients, it benefits their families, but then ripple effect, it's benefiting their children's teachers and the next door neighbor and the guy down the street and the person they visit in Asia. Like, I believe that we are changing the world when people sign up for my course. Like, that's some confidence if you fully believe that, right?
Yeah.
So when you believe it, it's not about you anymore. It's selfish to not get yourself out there. It's selfish to not be bold. It's selfish not to share. Like, you're being selfish if you don't let everyone know what it is that you're here to give.
Amen. That's what I have to talk myself into that too. But I like taking it down to even like more and more details at all times. So I love it. It is selfish, and you're basically just being a narcissist, making it all about you.
That's what we all do. It's normal. It's normal. Yeah. But what do you mean? Like, what kind of details do you take it into when you do it? Like when you do exercise?
I'm going to take it down to your details, but I would just say to myself, okay, when I win, everyone wins. Because I've had deep self-worth issues, like so many women, based on childhood. And so it's like, I also loved what you said, like asking God and the angels and your guides to help you. Yeah. It's like sometimes my first response is, oh, well, like I don't go to God for that because maybe it's a worthiness thing. I don't know. I will know because I'm unfolding all this. But today I was in the shower and I was like, well, what if I just ask God for help with this? Because I don't know what to do. So I appreciate that.
What if I didn't really go through all this stuff. Like, I shared my first 3 or 4 steps, which is like, what do you want? Like, blah, blah, blah. But fully, I have it's kind of more like a 9-step process. And I teach it one of my courses. And one of the steps is literally asking for guidance. Because I don't think, whether you believe in higher self or God or whatever, I don't think there's any way to get past that. I don't think there's any way to open ourselves up to possibilities. You know what I mean? Other than believing there are possibilities and asking that they show up no matter who you're asking. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Right. I think people are too afraid to ask, or they don't think whatever, but it's but I think giving yourself permission to ask, because when you ask, it is given.
Always, without fail, right? Always. It always is in some form. I know, but what you're saying just reminds me of how we make it hard. We just make it hard, and it doesn't have to be hard.
No, it doesn't. It can be so easy and joyful.
I know.
Pointing that toe downstream and going downstream. Exactly.
Yeah, when it flows, it does feel very downstreamy when it flows. And then I think people kind of make it too big of a deal out of resistance sometimes, and maybe that's just me. I don't know. Maybe resistance is bigger than I understand. But to me, it feels like I'm going this, kind of uphill, working through, clearing my mind, changing my mind. But then it really is a downhill flow once I just do my work, Yeah.
Super inspiring. Well, thank you, Amanda. So grateful for you, and so fun to meet you. And well, actually, while I have you, I remember maybe a year or so ago, you had a Facebook ad, and I hadn't seen this before, and I thought it was interesting. I'll ask you about it. You had an ad that was for a branding course, and then you charged money for it, $7 or something. Do you remember that?
I was thinking about that this morning. That's so weird that you bring that up, because I've only done it one time. So my model, and no one really taught me this business model, this is just my Virgo thinking. My Virgo thinking is, I'm not someone who wants to have big launches then have no money. That's never made sense to me. So my Virgo thinking is launch once a quarter, put people on 4-month payment plans, Payment plans will always overlap. You will always be able to project your income. I've just been doing that for a few years now, right?
Yep.
And so then it's very new that I'm creating lower cost offers. Like I'll create like the 5 video I just talked about that's $97, or I had a bundle that was like 17 hours of older content for $297. That's all very new, and that's not really in my model. That's just like fun to sell, right?
Yep.
So back when you saw me do that thing, it was just an experiment.
Mm-hmm.
It was the idea was people don't watch it. People often sign up and don't watch it. Okay, so I did like a bit of Googling, very minimal research. And like, I basically learned reading a few articles that people are like 60% more likely to watch it. I don't remember what it was. Maybe it was 80. I don't know. Way more likely to watch it if they paid. I was like, that's interesting. Let's just see what the open rate is and what the rate is if I charge $11 for this branding thing. It was just like an idea.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was funny. A lot of people did watch it. A lot of people told me they liked the content. A lot of people watched it, signed up for the course. One person was mad that I pitched at the end. One person out of a lot. So I mean, maybe that's okay. But I didn't make any money off the $11 thing. Like the amount my ads were running for and my $11 offer, I made $0 off of it. I was like breaking even, which is never my business goal. But I wanted to see what would happen.
Yeah.
A lot of people bought it. So here's what I do now. I sell things all the time that have pitches at the end when I create bundles and stuff. So this is just like free tip on the sales page, you let them know you do that. You're like, bonus, watch me sell in a non-salesy way. Bonus, see me tell you about my offer with ease. Like you just tell them that you're going to tell them about something at the end, and you make it like you're teaching them because you are, and then no one can be mad at you that you pitched at the end. Yes.
I love it. Exactly. Genius. So would I recommend doing an $11 offer?
Yeah. Here's when it's worked. I've done it more since then. That time I would not say that worked. It was kind of dumb. Like fine experiment, kind of dumb. Yeah. Here's what I've done a lot of times since then. I have a training that's called Work From Around the World. I think it's $13. So now all of my webinars are just low cost offers on my website because I want people to watch. So say I'm in, like one time I was in Tulum. I was sitting with my laptop working on the beach. So like it was natural to take like a Snapchat of my toes in the laptop in the sand or whatever. It's
just a natural thing.
And then I just threw it up on Facebook really quick. And I was like, hey y'all, get my Work From Around the World training for $5, $7 off. I'm like from my phone on the beach, creating a coupon code on my phone, sharing in my Facebook group that there's a coupon code, selling like 50 of them. It was really like a no big deal thing. Yeah. It wouldn't have been worth running an ad. It wouldn't have been worth a lot of things, but it was a fun thing to just give to people and charge a little bit so that they'll watch, and then it was done.
Yeah, like that's fun. Just inspired in action and its service, and they actually watch it. So
and that was the whole thing, is they actually watch it. So we have a lot of free things on my website, then we have a lot of like very inexpensive things like that. And I don't really have like a strategy around it other than what I just said. I want people to watch.
And so when people buy that, are they then repeat buyers? Do they stick with you and buy higher end programs?
Yeah, often over time. It seems to me that buying a mid-price bundle or a low-cost offer makes you more comfortable buying. Yeah, is what it seems to be. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Okay, this is like the PS version of this interview. The PS. I don't know if I have any other PS.
This is just we can't stop talking. Yeah.
No, it's so good. Yeah, no, so good. I love that. I wanted to ask you about that. And then I guess you were doing a JV or something, or maybe promoting or an affiliate with Gabby. So that was
one of Gabby's affiliates. Yeah.
That was really good brand positioning too. I think that's how I first saw you, was you were promoting her.
Oh, I love being one of Gabby's affiliates. And being an affiliate is like a weird thing. She's the only person I'm an affiliate for. I think it's like, it has to be something you believe in. Yeah. And like, I actually feel like her masterclass was a game changer for me. Like I actually believe that. So it's easy to sell each year. Like I was like her third affiliate, and her affiliates are people like Hay House, and Amanda Freed was her third affiliate. But I think it's because I can really just speak to, I went, here's how it felt, here's what happens, here's my results. here's my bonus. Like, it's easy. It's an easy thing to sell for me.
Yeah, that's cool. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, everyone, I want you to be able to download Amanda's free gift here, the branding made, what's called
Becoming Your Brand.
And then, Amanda, you're welcome to join us. We have an after party in the BU and Make Bank Facebook group, so you can come in and mix and mingle if you want to. And then, yeah, everyone, make sure that you get this, and let's see how your brand is going to be, you know, developed by her amazing tips. You're such a sensation. It's such a joy to meet you, and thank you.
You're so sweet. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for watching.